Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Sukkah. We are up to Perek Gimel, Mishnah Gimel. Today's Mishnayot should be Leilu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Aranbayev, Neliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Menuchatam began Eden, Amen, and Avdil ben Chaim Lechaim for the Refuah Shlema, Bacha bat Esther, Tinok ben Saran, Sarah bat Shoshana, Betoch Shah Cholei Israel. This Mishnah teaches what disqualifies an Arava. Arava Gizula Bivesha Psula. A stolen arava or a dry one is invalid. Shel Ashera v'sher ira nidachat pisula. An arava and a shera or a subverted city is invalid. We spoke about what these things are in the previous Mishnayot and also why they are invalid in both cases. The Mishnah continues, Niktam Rosha, an arava whose top was cut off. Now this refers to the top of the stem, as in the case of the hadas, not the leaves. Nifritzu alea, or had most of its leaves torn off. V'hat tzafzafa, or a tzafzafa, type of arava whose leaves are round, pisula, these are all invalid. Now it is derived from the Torah that a tzafzafa is invalid, as Rashi explains on page 33b in Masechet Sukkah. And regarding the niktam rosha nifritzu alea, again we discussed this in the previous Mishnayot. The Mishnah lists cases in which an arava is valid. Kimusha, if an arava is merely withered rather than completely dry. Now not only an arava, but also a lulav, hadas, and etrog, that are merely withered and not completely dry are invalid as implied by Mishnahs 1, 2, and 5. This law is stated explicitly only regarding the arava because one might have thought that since an arava is described as growing by a brook, it is not acceptable unless it retains all of its moisture. V'shenashru miktzat alea, or if only some of its leaves fell off. Now the Mishnah states some of its leaves fell off to clarify that when this and the previous two Mishnahs said that a species whose leaves were torn off is invalid, they meant that most of its leaves were torn off and not just some of them. This clarification is stated here and not in the earlier Mishnahs because the arava is the last of the three species, ulav, hadas, and arava, to which it applies. V'shel baal, or if it fell from a field that is watered by the rain and did not grow by a brook, although Torah describes the arava as arve nachal, willows of a brook, in Sefer Vayikra chapter 23 pasuk 40, and arava is valid even if it did not grow by a brook. The verse is just speaking of the usual situation, as the Rav explains. The Mishnah says kishera, in all of these cases the arava is valid. And that is in a Mishnah Gimel. Mishnah Daled now continues. Before discussing the specific laws of an etrog, the Mishnah states how many of each species is needed for the mitzvah. Rabbi Ishmael says Shelosha adasim u'shtei aravot ulav echad ve'etrog echad. The mitzvah is to take 3 adasim, 2 aravot, 1 ulav, and 1 etrog. Afilu shnaim ketumim ve'echad eno katum. The adasim are valid even if 2 of them are clipped, their tops are cut off, and 1 of them, and 1 is not clipped. Now the Gemara asks, why Rabbi Shmuel allows 2 clipped hadasim, but not 3? After all, if a clipped hadas is valid, all 3 may be clipped, and if it is not valid, not even 1 may be clipped. So the Gemara answers that Rabbi Shmuel considers a clipped hadas invalid, but he changed his mind about the number of hadasim required. At first he held that 3 hadasim are necessary, all of which must be unclipped. But later he ruled that 1 hadas is enough. However, he did not withdraw his original statement. Instead, he modified it by saying that 2 of the 3 hadasim may be clipped and thus invalid because a single hadas suffices. This is how the Rav explains the opinion of Rabbi Ishmael, based off the Gemara on page 34b in Masechet Sukkah. Now the next Tana disagrees about clipped hadasim. Rabbi Tarfon Omer, Rabbi Tarfon says, Afilu shloshtan ketumim, 1 fulfills the mitzvah even if all 3 of the hadasim are clipped. Rabbi Tarfon rules that a hadas is valid even if it is clipped because in his opinion, the Torah's requirement of beauty hadar does not apply to the hadas. Now regarding the number of hadasim, he holds that 3 are necessary as Rabbi Ishmael ruled originally. The next Tana disagrees about the required numbers. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva says, Kishem shel ulav echad ve'etrog echad, just as one needs only 1 ulav and 1 etrog, kach hadas echad v'arava achat. So too one needs only 1 hadas and 1 arava. And the Tosfot explains, according to Rabbi Akiva, this 1 hadas may not be clipped. And the Rav does tell us, Valachek Rabbi Tarfon, that Halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon, that 1 fulfills the mitzvah even if all 3 of the hadasim are clipped. And like we said in the notes, Regarding the number of hadassim, he holds that 3 are necessary, as Rabbi Ishmael ruled originally. And that is the Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.